These are the 10 richest male volleyball players in 2026. Guys who are among the best athletes on the planet, playing in front of packed arenas, winning Olympic gold medals, and still making less than an NBA bench warmer. That's the strange reality of men's volleyball economics. The highest paid male player in the world earns about $1.4 million a season. Sounds like decent money, until you realize it wouldn't crack the top 500 salaries in the NBA. And most pro volleyball players? They're earning somewhere between $100,000 and $300,000 in the top European leagues. Getting past $500,000 is extremely rare and mostly limited to the very best outside hitters and opposites. I want to be upfront about something before we start counting down. Volleyball doesn't have transparent salary databases like American sports. There's no public cap sheet. Most of these numbers come from sports media estimates, agent leaks, and community reports. I'll tell you where each figure comes from so you can judge for yourself. We're going to count from number 10 all the way up to number 1, and along the way, I'll break down how these guys got here, what makes each of them special, and why the economics of men's volleyball look the way they do. Let's go. Number 10, Ivan Zaytsev. At number 10, we've got Ivan Zaytsev from Italy, with an estimated salary of around $850,000 per season. Zaytsev is an opposite hitter, and if you've watched international volleyball at all in the last decade, you know his name. He's been one of the most recognizable faces in the sport. Born in Italy to a Russian father who was also a volleyball player, Zaytsev grew up around the game and turned it into a very strong professional career. He's played across multiple top clubs in Italy's Serie A, which is one of the two powerhouse leagues in men's volleyball. His $850,000 puts him at the bottom of this top 10, but keep in mind, that number would put him well above 99% of all professional volleyball players in the world. The average pro volleyball salary in the United States is only about $38,500 a year. Zaytsev earns that in about 2 weeks. Number 9, Matt Anderson. Number 9 is Matt Anderson from the United States, also earning around $850,000 per season. Anderson matters a lot for American volleyball fans because he's one of the very few US men who has played at the absolute highest level of international club volleyball and earned a top-tier salary doing it. He's an outside hitter who has competed in some of Europe's best leagues. If you're an American guy watching this, think about what Anderson's salary means. He's the best-paid American male volleyball player, earning less than a rookie minimum contract in the NFL. The best his country produces in this sport, and the financial reward is what a mid-level corporate manager makes. That's not a knock on Anderson. It tells you everything about where volleyball sits in the American sports economy. Coming in at number 8 is Gyorgy Grozer from Germany, with an estimated salary of about $870,000 per season. Grozer is an opposite hitter who's been a monster in European volleyball for years. He's one of the hardest servers in the game and has played for top clubs across multiple European leagues. Germany doesn't usually come up when you talk about volleyball powerhouses the way Poland or Italy do, but Grozer has single-handedly put German volleyball on the map from a financial standpoint. His $870,000 shows you don't need to come from a traditional volleyball country to earn at the top level. You just need to be absurdly talented and willing to play wherever the money takes you. Number 7 is Aleksandar Atanasijevic from Serbia, earning approximately $920,000 per season. Atanasijevic is an opposite hitter who's been one of the most consistent scorers in European volleyball. Serbia has a strong volleyball tradition, and Atanasijevic has been at the center of it for years. He's played in Italy's Serie A, which has historically been one of the highest-paying leagues for men. At $920,000, he's just barely under that $1 million threshold. And crossing $1 million is a big deal in men's volleyball. Very few players in history have done it. Atanasijevic has gotten closer than most ever will. At number 6 is Robertlandy Simon, and this is where the stories start getting really interesting. Simon was born on June 11, 1987, in Guantanamo, Cuba. He stands 2.08 meters tall, that's 6'10", and plays middle blocker. He captained the Cuban national team and won silver medals at the 2009 FIVB World Grand Champions Cup. But like several Cuban athletes before him, he eventually left Cuba to pursue his career internationally. He's played in Italy, including at clubs like Piacenza and currently at Gas Sales Piacenza, and in Brazil at Sada Cruzeiro. Different sources put his salary at different levels, with estimates ranging from about $700,000 to $950,000 per season. An Instagram reel from January 2026 breaking down the top 5 highest paid male players listed him at around $950,000, while other sources put him in the $700,000 to $900,000 range. Simon's story mirrors Wilfredo Leon's in some ways. Both are Cuban-born players who left Cuba to play at the highest level internationally. The difference is Leon switched nationalities to play for Poland, while Simon has continued to represent Cuba when available. But both show you that Cuba keeps producing incredible volleyball talent, even if the island's economic structure pushes those players to earn their money abroad. Number 5 is Dmitriy Muserskiy, with an estimated salary of about $950,000 per season. Muserskiy is a physical freak. Born on October 29, 1988, in Makivka, Ukraine, he stands 2.18 meters tall. That's 7'2". He's one of the tallest players in professional volleyball, and he plays as a middle blocker and opposite, which at his height makes him an absolute nightmare to play against at the net. He's a Ukrainian-born Russian player who has competed for Russia's national team and won Olympic gold at the 2012 London Olympics. He plays for the Suntory Sunbirds in Japan, which is worth noting because it shows the salary map isn't just Italy and Poland. Japan's V-League is another destination where top players can earn serious money. At $950,000, Muserskiy is right on the edge of that $1 million club. And when you consider his Olympic gold, his height, and his longevity in the sport, it's easy to argue he could be even higher on this list if he'd spent his peak years in Europe's richest leagues. Number 4 is Bartosz Bednorz from Poland, with an estimated salary of roughly $1 million per season. Bednorz is an outside hitter, and he's part of the Polish wave that's been dominating this list. Poland keeps showing up, and that's no coincidence. The Polish Plus Liga has become one of the strongest and best-funded men's volleyball leagues in the world, and the country's national team has been consistently among the best. At $1 million, Bednorz has crossed that threshold that only a handful of male volleyball players have ever reached. He's proof that you don't need to be the #1 player in the world to earn 7 figures in volleyball. You just need to be a top-tier player in a league that's willing to pay for talent. Number 3 is Bartosz Kurek from Poland, an opposite hitter earning an estimated $1.2 million per season. Some sources, including an Instagram breakdown from January 2026, have put his earnings at around $1.1 million, so the exact number sits somewhere in that range. Kurek has been one of the best opposites in the world for a long time. He's a pillar of the Polish national team, and Poland has dominated international volleyball in recent years. He plays with a combination of power and technical skill that makes him one of the most complete attackers in the sport. And here's something to appreciate about Kurek's salary. At $1.2 million, he's earning more per year than many American professional athletes in mid-tier sports. But if he played basketball or football at the same elite level, he'd be earning 10 or 20 times that. The ceiling in volleyball is just fundamentally different. 3 Polish players in the top 10, Bednorz, Kurek, and as you'll see, the #1 spot too. Poland isn't just a volleyball powerhouse on the court, it's becoming one financially. At number 2 is Earvin N'Gapeth from France, earning an estimated $1.35 million per season. N'Gapeth was born on February 12, 1991, and he's been one of the most exciting and unpredictable players in the world for over a decade. He plays outside hitter, and his style is something you have to see to believe. He's flashy, creative, and makes plays that other guys wouldn't even attempt. His resume backs up every dollar. He won the French League Championship in 2010, the Italian League Championship in 2016, the European Continental Championship in 2015. He's a 4-time gold medalist in the World League and Nations League, winning in 2015, 2017, 2022, and 2024. But the crown jewel? 2 Olympic gold medals. He helped France win gold at Tokyo 2020 and then again at Paris 2024. Back-to-back Olympic golds. That kind of pedigree is almost unheard of, and it commands premium money. To show you how much the sport's financial landscape has changed, back in 2016, World of Volley reported that N'Gapeth was earning 350,000 euros at Modena in Italy. Now he's earning about 1.35 million. That's nearly 4 times as much in roughly a decade. The growth at the top end of men's volleyball salaries has been real and dramatic. And at number 1, the highest paid male volleyball player in the world is Wilfredo Leon, earning an estimated $1.4 million per season. Leon was born on July 31st, 1993, in Santiago de Cuba. He's an outside hitter, and his path to the top of this list is one of the wildest stories in the sport. He started playing for Cuba's national team as a teenager, then left Cuba and eventually settled in Poland, switching his nationality to represent the Polish national team. By the time he was 24, he had already won every major title in professional volleyball. All of them. His salary history tells the story of a player who has always been at the top. He played for Zenit Kazan in Russia early in his career, where he was already earning around $1.4 million. Back in 2017, that was being reported as possibly the highest salary in the sport. Then he moved to SIR Safety Perugia in Italy's Serie A, where La Gazzetta dello Sport estimated his salary at €900,000, the highest in the entire Italian league by a wide margin. In 2022, he signed a 3-year extension with Perugia, reportedly worth €4.5 million total, about €1.5 million per season. He's now playing for Bogdanka Luk Lublin in Poland's Plus Liga, and his salary sits at that $1.4 million mark. What makes Leon worth it is simple. He can do everything. He serves with terrifying power, hits from every angle, and defends at a level you don't usually see from a player with his offensive output. He's the kind of player who would be a household name if volleyball had the same media machine as basketball or soccer. And yet, $1.4 million. That's his ceiling, the absolute peak of men's volleyball earnings. LeBron makes that in about 2 games. So there's your top 10. But I want to leave you with some context that I think makes this list even more interesting. First, there's a stat that might surprise you. The highest paid volleyball player in the world isn't actually on this list. It's a woman. Tijana Boskovic from Serbia reportedly signed a deal with Vakif Bank Istanbul worth about €2.5 million per season, roughly $2.7 million. That's nearly double what Leon makes. Volleyball is one of the very few sports where the top female player out-earns the top male player, and it's almost entirely because of Turkey's women's league. Second, look at the countries on this list. Poland appears 3 times. Cuba-born players show up twice. Italy, Germany, France, Serbia, and the US each have 1. But the leagues that pay these salaries are concentrated in just a few places: Italy, Poland, Japan, and historically Russia. The geography of volleyball money is narrow. Third, the all-time career earnings picture adds another layer. Karch Kiraly, the greatest volleyball player ever, 3 Olympic gold medals, 2 indoor and 1 beach, earned over $3.2 million in beach volleyball prize money alone during his career, and considerably more from endorsements. Behind him on the all-time beach earnings list are Emanuel Rego from Brazil at about $2.69 million, and Phil Dalhausser from the United States at about $2.63 million. These guys built their wealth tournament by tournament over 2 decades. And finally, the trend is pointing up. Salaries have multiplied several times over in the last 10 years. N'Gapeth went from $350,000 to $1.35 million. Leon went from $900,000 in Italy to $1.4 million. The competition between clubs keeps pushing contracts higher. The growth is real. That's your top 10 richest male volleyball players in 2026. From Zaytsev and Anderson at $850,000, through the Cuban powerhouses Simon and Leon, all the way to Leon's $1.4 million peak. These guys are proof that you can make a real living playing volleyball at the highest level. It's just a very different kind of living than what you'd see in the NBA, the NFL, or European soccer. The ceiling is lower, the path is harder, and most of the money lives in a handful of European and Asian leagues that the average American sports fan has never heard of. But the money is growing, and if the last decade is any indicator, the next number 1 on this list might be earning $2 million or more. Drop a like if you learned something. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into the money behind sports that don't always get the spotlight. And let me know in the comments, which player on this list surprised you the most? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.